Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Laps Down podcast. My name is Andrea.
And I'm MJ.
And you did wonderful on the intro last week. We got quite a few compliments.
Thank
you. Do you miss it?
Do I miss doing it that one time?
Yeah.
It was fun, but I think I don't want it to lose its novelty. It's only ever to be a surprise when it happens.
Exactly. So keep everybody on their toes. I get it. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And if you haven't already, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. We're doing awesome on Spotify reviews, but I'm making a plea specifically to our Apple Podcast listeners. You guys don't even have videos. So you can't even see what I'm doing. You guys, leave a review if you like us. Also, feel free to subscribe on YouTube. And we didn't lose TikTok. So we have I think another 75-day extension. So we're at Laps Down Pod on TikTok. And we're also at Laps Down Pod on Instagram, if that's what you prefer. Do you have anything else, admin-y, to get out of the way, or do you want to get right into it?
I don't think there's anything else admin-y. Oh, we did kind of tease. Oh, what were you going to say?
We had our live, and it was super fun. And we're going to try to do those probably weekly. I don't know. We'll probably do one again this week. The best way to know about that is our Instagram, and we go live on TikTok. So on Instagram, we'll post about it, and then on TikTok, you'll get a notification if you follow us. But we go live on our personal accounts.
That's what I was just going to say. So you have to follow our personal accounts, or I can do a better job of posting on the Laps Down, being they're going live on those accounts. If you don't want to follow us, if you're low committal, that's totally fine. You can just hop on over there.
We do post funny content on our personals too. It's not like you're gonna be dragged through the mud. We try to give you good stuff over there, you know? We
try to, for sure. But I was also gonna say we kind of teased, because we thought TikTok was gonna go down, our book club. Mm-hmm. And there were a couple people asking questions. The details are...
Should we just we can tell them what book it is and they can read it for themselves if they want to get ahead of it?
Well, I was just going to say the details are to come. It hasn't come out yet.
Throw the book then. Never mind. I'm going to show them.
We can.
I already threw it.
Okay,
I don't even know what the title of it is. It's a funny book.
We've already read our first book, but in the future we'll find a way to details to come. Details to come. But I'm trying to hype it up because I'm really excited about it.
We read a book about motorsports that we are going to eventually film. Loosely. We're going to film a video talking about said book. If you want to read the book before you watch the video, then keep an eye out and we'll tell you guys when the video goes up and you can watch it after you read it. But you really don't need to. It's not a very plot-heavy book.
It's
not that deep. You guys can get the vibe fast.
Definitely a book. Definitely a book.
Hey, it's literature, but it's for fun. It's for funsies. We'll do a serious book club maybe someday though, with actual books of learning.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all of our admin. We can talk about F1.
Okay.
All right. Well, we were in Japan this week. I love all of the hype around Japan. I feel like everybody really showed up and showed out. We had lots of good storylines. Not really during the race, but before the race. And we had lots of cutesy little things like the Haas livery. Mm-hmm. That was cute. We had, obviously, Yuki Tsunoda doing his first race with Red Bull in his home race in Japan. But before that, we had all the drama surrounding his switch to Red Bull. You were following a story I was not about Helmut Marko. I think I've kind of maybe I accidentally muted anything with the words Helmut Marko or something. I did not see this story, but take it away.
Yeah, I don't know how I saw it either. I think it was Planet F1 who put it out, but Helmut Marko got on his little soapbox and he said, "I'm going to tell my truth right now. It wasn't my fault that Yuki wasn't in the Red Bull in the first place. It was Adrian Newey's." And he blamed it on... It was a... Okay, so what he said originally was there was an incident in Silverstone, and then
years ago,
Helmut Marko, no, he's talking last year, and then Adrian Newey was so furious with Yuki Tsunoda that he barred Red Bull from ever putting him in the seat, to which Adrian Newey's wife, whose name I'm forgetting right now, I apologize, Amber came out and responded to it on Twitter and was like, he was on gardening leave. Make that make sense. And then, of course, Christian Horner yesterday came out and was like, no, what Helmut what Helmut's referring to is something that happened in 2022, had nothing to do with anything, and basically was just like, no, Helmut, I don't know what Helmut's talking about. That's incorrect.
Right.
But it was so funny that Helmut, the first thing he did, one of his first interviews after the switch was like, well, you know what? This whole time it was Adrian Newey's fault. As Adrian Newey's like chilling.
He doesn't work there anymore though, babes. Like, it doesn't actually even matter. Even if that is exactly what happened, he didn't work there halfway through last season.
Well, and how did it become his fault now? Why wasn't it his fault like 2 races ago?
Yeah, you put Liam in the seat over winter break.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just thought that was really creative of him, and I really appreciate that Adrian Newey's wife was like, hey, dumbass, make it make sense.
No, I think that there's something interesting and a skill to be studied of how to never accept any responsibility like an employee at Red Bull. Like, they're so good at it, it's almost like admirable. It's like, how did you even get so creative with who to blame? Like, I would have never thought Adrian Newey. Like, that one came out of left field.
If you told me that Helmut Marko was taking improv classes instead of like PR training, I would 100% believe you, because he just thinks of it on the fly. He's like, yeah, it's Adrian Newey's fault. I'm surprised he wasn't like, yeah, it was actually Lewis Hamilton's fault. He told us that we couldn't put Yuki in the Red Bull. It's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. No, I get it, because, yeah, if he would have said, no, it was our fault, we made a wrong decision, that kind of ends the improv scene. It's really bad improv etiquette.
That's
You're
shutting it
to,
down.
Give it exactly. He keeps us on his toes. Yes, Helmut Marko. Never change. Okay, so then we also had our free practice drama. I say free practice was pretty interesting considering how boring the final race was.
Yeah.
There was, I think, 6 red flags across the free practice sessions. A lot of them were just grass catching on fire.
Grass fires.
As if there's no way we could prevent that from happening. Maybe just don't have grass that close to the track. Like, you have to put a different substance there.
Yeah. The Sky Sports people were really on one this weekend, and they were talking about, well, if you didn't want so many grass fires, then use a different metal that doesn't make sparks when you brake or whatever. And I was like, they can't just change that right now. Hey, bro, we are actively at the track. It's happening.
Construction of F1 cars.
It was just like,
this doesn't happen anymore.
And they were like looking up, well, no, it wasn't they. It was, Villeneuve or whatever the fuck his name was.
This man.
He just kept going. He's like, yeah, I just Googled it. These are the different types of metals you could use that don't spark. And I was like, the issue is gone. Like, that's not going to be the solution to the issue this year. I'm so glad that you took a science class or whatever your issue is. But there were a bunch of grass fires, and that was maybe the most interesting thing that happened, or one of the most interesting things that happened this weekend.
This brings up a good point. Do you think that Sky Sports is maybe producing the worst product of F1 commentary they could possibly produce? Do you think they go out of their way to do it? It's like
alarmingly, I haven't really noticed this, but this weekend was alarmingly bad because that guy was on. He's not usually on. It's usually Ted and Crofty. Yeah. I'm new here. I'm learning my characters still. But this like third motherfucker, like and I know we like dog on Clint Boyer and Townsend Bell a lot, but like as far as it goes of like the worst third host, he was so bad. If you want to talk about shutting down an improv scene, anytime anyone would say something, he would just immediately be like, that's not how it works.
No, I have watched, so when I go to like watch parties, they use the ESPN feed, which is the Sky Sports feed. And that's the only time I ever watched that one. And he has been the third host a couple times. And he also says like crazy shit about certain like he has certain drivers that he just does not fuck with, and he will just say the craziest stuff about them. And it's like he doesn't even try to be like, oh, like I'm gonna be like impartial here. No,
it's horrible.
He's saying whatever comes to mind. And then of course sometimes you show up and it's Danica Patrick, and we're like, not this. You know what I mean? F1 TV, I mean, it's a little different this year because I definitely have noticed some of the characters like Will Buxton and stuff, they've been testing things out. We had an F1 TV this week, we had Callum, the mechanic from Red Bull, and he was bad. But he was only during a practice session.
The one who... Was that the one who wrote the book?
Yeah,
that
how
like
they show
revealed
porn in
a
the
bunch of
garage.
workplace harassment and was like, no, that was just the culture there. And I was like, hey, so
No, he's also the same
prepare
one
for that
like,
to be in court.
he would like get in fights on Twitter with Checo fans last year. Like people that were like fans of Checo were like, what's going on that side of the garage? And he was like, the car's the same, he's just ass. And I was like, right, so you're still employed at this company.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can
at all. Say that.
But he, it was funny because they were like trying to talk about like the Red Bull drama, obviously, because I think it was like free practice 1. So it was like, what else is there to talk about other than obviously Yuki and a Red Bull for the first time? And he was kind of like doing like the PR Red Bull answers. And I'm like, okay, so if you're like still under an NDA or something like that, then maybe let's just not be a commentator, because now you're just like pissing me off. Like you're just like not even contributing anything. You clearly have some inside info about how like shit was decided and how, you know, everything worked out at Red Bull last year and stuff. Like, and they're specifically asking you about it and you're not talking about it. That's annoying.
Maybe this race wasn't the one for him. Maybe he should have done one where there was nothing important with his prior team happening.
Right. And it's like, because it's like, I know he's like a drama queen. So I think he just wasn't saying anything because he must be under like an NDA or something. I was like, so why are we doing this? So annoying. But yeah, people were complaining about the Sky Sports commentary.
It's horrific.
What was their commentary surrounding the Jack Doohan crash? Because Jack Doohan absolutely ate shit in FP2. I love him. I feel bad for him. It was a driver error. He had the DRS open. And I'm wondering what Sky Sports had to say.
Yeah, they were just absolutely... Well, it wasn't... And I'm saying Sky Sports, but it was just that one guy. They kept, like... He kept saying that he was, like, stupid. He's like, no, that's just, like... And it wasn't, like, the way that, like, we call, like, Kyle Larson, like, a dumbass. He was, like, trying to insinuate, like, this dude is intellectually inferior to everyone else on the grid. And I was like, it's so interesting that you're saying this about his open DRS, when his teammate was doing it too, but his teammate just happens to be French.
Right. No, he's cool with that. He's like, Pierre's different.
And, like, Crofty kept trying to, like, move away from it and be like, no, yeah, definitely an issue, shouldn't have done it. Anyways, and then that guy was just like, yeah, what an idiot. I was like, dude. And it went on for so long. I was like, we've seen the crash. They're rebuilding the car, whatever, what have you. I don't know.
Well, on
Pissed me
F1 TV,
off.
in F1 TV, they were like, okay, I don't know exactly what happened. And I think, like, Julian Palmer was like, I guarantee he just had the DRS open. And then they, like, showed a slow-mo, and he's like, yep, like, there's the, like, dots on the steering wheel. You can see the DRS is open. And they were like, that's the definition of a rookie mistake. There was, like, usually engineers at certain tracks make a very big deal of, like, hey, this is one of those tracks where you have to manually turn off the DRS. I obviously don't know it, but he made it sound like at almost every other track, it is never an issue because it will automatically turn off DRS when you press the brake. But certain turns, you don't really brake going into the turn in a way that's hard enough to turn off the DRS. So I was like, that is the definition of a rookie mistake. And that's why I feel so bad for Jack Doohan, because it's like, he's probably so focused on everything else that he is going to be way more likely to make those rookie mistakes. He's so desperate to get every 10th off his time to maybe save his fucking career. He's under such immense pressure that he apparently, I guess in the simulator, was able to do this sort of thing and, like, shave off, like, major time on his lap, and it just in real life translates different. I think this says more about the Alpine simulator, about their lack of reminder to him as a rookie. Hey, this is one of those tracks where you have to do this. I don't know. I feel bad for Jack.
I felt bad. And then, did you see the video of him getting out of his car after the race? I was like, this is just the same situation we saw with Ty Gibbs a couple weeks ago, where it's like that person is clearly not okay. Although their reserve driver was testing this weekend, so it's like,
yay!
Hey guys, we couldn't have put someone else in there, maybe?
He can't even, like, literally even get out of the car. And not to mention, they had a different... One of their many... Can we talk about... They have too many fucking reserve drivers. One of their, like, 5 reserve drivers did FP1... Not for Pierre, not for the guy who has done this track tons of times. It's actually for the rookie that's never drove here before. That's who decided to sideline for FP1.
Obviously.
That's great team management. That's
Although,
super awesome. Good
in
time.
Jack's defense, he was only, I think there was one car separating him from Pierre, who had no issues this weekend. So, I dare you to make Jack do and look bad, Alpine.
They do it all on their own. Jack doesn't even have to do anything. They make both of those cars look like clown shows every weekend. All on their own.
Yeah, you gotta get rid of them.
God, the Alpine people, they grind my gears. I would not wish Alpine on my least favorite driver. It seems like hell over there, you know? We also had Carlos Sainz had beef with FIA this weekend. Every time I
Poor
turned around,
guy.
he was fighting for his life out here. First, he gets a 3-place grid penalty after qualifying for impeding Lewis Hamilton. He impeded him real bad. Real bad.
But maybe Lewis could have, honked or signaled that he was coming around.
No, you're right. Well, or maybe the Williams engineer could have told him that he was going to be there.
Where's his spotter?
We could use him. We could use him. And then, so he gets a 3-place grid penalty for that. He also got a couple little FIA, noted during the race for, going off track limits at certain times and stuff like that. I don't think it resulted in any penalty, but it's okay because he already got fined, $25,000 or something crazy like that for going shit during the anthem.
Yeah, he had a doctor's
IBS,
note, too.
He literally had, an IBS episode.
Yeah, and then doctors were like, no, this is a legitimate reason. And the FIA was like, okay, well, it's actually 10,000 euros for this time, and if you do it again, it's another 10,000. What?
The man is, literally in a white suit. And, he literally, it's just, he's trying not to shit himself. And, have we not... Where are we in, motorsports for, IBS inclusion? You know what I mean? This is ableist.
F1 is so embarrassing. Everything about F1 embarrasses me. How am I supposed to explain to my friends that this is what happened this weekend? I watched a parade, and then there was a medical issue, and he actually had to pay although very American, to charge him $10,000 for a medical issue.
No, so true. He's lucky he didn't need an ambulance.
Yeah, woof.
He would have been looking down the barrel at a big fee. You mentioned this being a parade. That's because qualifying basically ended up being the end-all, be-all of this race. But we did have an exciting qualifying. The fastest Sector 1 was set by Lando Norris, and the fastest Sector 2 and 3 was set by Oscar Piastri. Who do you think got pole? Max Verstappen. I'm not gonna lie, it was a beautiful qualifying lap. He, I think, said in an interview he thought he was gonna crash 5 times.
Wow.
And he basically he didn't even have any of the fastest sectors. He just had all around the best lap. I think this obviously speaks a lot to Max, Fernando Alonso, and a lot of other drivers were yeah, no, he's a fucking generational talent. He is amazing.
I'm afraid of that man. He's too good.
They're I don't know, he's insane. That car is ass stuck on the remix, and I don't know how he did that. But this actually began our weekend of, I don't know, McLaren just doing McLaren things. I think it was, we'll talk more about the actual race, but I think it was the first big fumble of the weekend for McLaren. I mean, they have no reason not to be shutting down the front row of every race.
Well, they do have a reason. It's...
Right. No need. We'll speak about it later. But Yuki did not have a good qualifying. He was out in Q2. He was out qualified by Liam Lawson. What do you think about... Well, right, because he has a drivable car.
Yeah.
What do you think about Yuki's first week out for Red Bull?
I thought he did well. What was it? Okay. What did he end in? P13?
Yeah, not in the points, but I mean,
points don't matter.
Yeah, that car doesn't deserve.
They're up 7 because what did our flippy hair guy end in the first couple of weeks? Not that great.
20th.
So hell yeah, that's a great improvement. It's also his first race, one of the not as raceable tracks on the grid. I think he did fine, and he was also like floating the whole weekend, which kind of makes me a little bit biased to be like, yeah, he had a good weekend just because I was enjoying seeing him have a good time. But
I was like, wait, when did he like? I was like, was he like?
when did he levitate?
Yeah, I missed that part. I was like, sorry. I don't know. I feel like he did better than Liam. I think he'll only get better. He had the most amount of pressure this weekend than he'll probably have any other weekend. And I think he did fine. I do think we need to rename the team to Verstappen Racing. Because they have not scored a single point with any other car this season.
I mean, it's the same old song and dance. Until you change something, you can't expect to get any different results. We saw this last year.
That's the definition of stupidity. I think that's the definition of stupidity.
No, I would never say that. But yeah, I would say that. It's like, we didn't change anything when Checo was in the car. And then we had the same issues. Okay, so we put a blonde kid in the car. That's going to make it better. He gets in the car, nothing better. It's like, okay, we'll put Yuki in the car. And now Isaac's like, yeah, no, if I get a call from Red Bull, I'll absolutely go. And I'm like, you've already got...
Isaac, sit down.
You've already got, fourth string up here being like, hell yeah, put me in the car. At this point.
I think for me, what's interesting is Isaac Hadjar actually runs Racing Bulls now. Because he fucking bodied Liam Lawson. And I don't want to hear shit, but Liam needs to adjust to that team. That is the car he drove last year. So he's fine.
He's been on the team.
He's not the one adjusting. Yuki's the one adjusting. He is fine. And the fact that he got bodied by Isaac Hadjar. I will say, though, I was pretty mad. It happened in qualifying, and it happened in the race as well. Racing Bulls could not figure out how to get Isaac Hadjar's seat in properly, and his literal balls were being crushed by his seatbelt, going like 100 and something miles per hour. And the commentators on F1 TV, I don't know what they were saying on Sky Sports.
Oh, it's bad.
They were basically saying, this is amateur hour. They were like, I don't understand what on earth could be wrong with his seat that they haven't fixed by now. Like, they have been messing with his seat all weekend. They were like, you figure this shit out in testing. They were like, I don't know what's wrong with his seat, but it is amateur hour over in Racing Bulls. I feel like they have such a good car, but like they do just be doing stuff sometimes where I'm like, what is going on over there? Like,
it's those little errors that it's like you're ruining your whole weekend because of the seat issue. It's giving Will Power not being able to get his seatbelt on in Nashville.
No, so true. We need to ask Will Power, like, were your balls being crushed too? No, his just came undone.
Yeah, his wasn't.
He was like free flying out of the seat.
Yeah, it was the opposite issue.
Yeah, it's what your worst nightmare is when you're like on a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Is it not being like tight enough? I think Isaac's was tight enough.
It was quite tight enough. Yeah, and the F1, or not the F1 TV, the Sky Sports commentators just tried to like continue to blame it on him. I was like, bro, I think if he could have fixed it, he would have. But what do I know? What do I know?
I think it's weird too because he couldn't really say anything on the radio specifically about what was going on because I think that they actually would get in trouble by the FIA.
Yeah, a seatbelt issue.
You can't like fuck around out there without a seatbelt on because it turns out you're driving pretty fast. But yeah, he still qualified like 7th or 8th or something with the seatbelt issue. Speaking of qualifying in F1 TV, they had an IndyCar moment. I get up at 2 a.m. to watch qualifying and the fucking F1 TV app is not working. The stream isn't working. Nobody could get on and watch it. And I ended up having to watch like the first like Q1 on ESPN because I couldn't get F1 TV to work. And it was funny because they had James Hinchcliffe this weekend on the F1 TV broadcast. And I was like, I know he's fucking pissed right now.
Double homicide.
He's probably like, guys, we gotta make streams work. Like, I don't know what you guys are doing back there.
Did he break out the Christopher Walken for the European audience?
He might have. We'll never know. But basically it was like showing like an error saying I had like too many streams open and I thought maybe you were using my F1 TV login. And I was
I was sleeping.
I was like, get the fuck off. I was like, I know I didn't want you to suffer with Sky Sports, but now it's at my expense, so get off. So we have the race. Nothing happens. Yeah, nothing happens. So the only things that we get that are exciting was Albon cussing out the pit wall for Williams.
I love when he does this. It gives me so much life.
Injected into MJ's veins. Like
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You tell him. I can't say it, so you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, he was pissed, and I guess it was because all weekend he's been telling Williams that his upshifts and downshifts were not working properly, and he was literally like, hey, it's a fucking race. You guys had all weekend to fix it. What's going on here?
Yeah, the Sky Sports, sorry, not to bring it back to them, they also had words for that. They're like, well, they have a lot more data than you do. And I was like, bro is actively driving the vehicle. He is inside the cockpit right now. And you expect him to be like, hell yeah, let the shifties do whatever they want?
Well, it's like, because we just saw Max have, like, a similar radio saying, oh, my shifts aren't working properly. And then Red Bull was like, okay, 1 second. And then they were like, your shifts should be better now. And he was like, oh, yep, they're all better. I was like, so can Williams do that?
Yeah.
Or, like, what capability do they have that we don't have over at Williams? Can we share that capability? Because Alex is struggling out here. And then, yeah, he was pissed about his strategy. And it was, oh my God, it's like one of the funniest radios ever. But they're like, well, Behrman just pitted. And he's like, what if we pit before? What? That's crazy. He was so pissed. And then afterwards, he was all embarrassed. Did you see his after-race interview?
No.
He was like, wait, you guys like heard that? He was like, must have been a really boring race. And I guess he does that often.
He does it.
Yeah, he's cussing
he does it a
out
lot
on the radio all the time.
Yeah, Man Crush. Well, he drives for Williams. Last year there were a handful of them where I was like, bro, you're not driving well enough to be saying this on the radio. But now he's a top dog.
He's good.
So
yeah, now he can talk whatever shit. Talk your shit. Talk your shit, Alex.
Hell yeah.
But I have to be listening in to Alex's radio all the time now. I think I need like a dual screen situation.
It's good.
It's really fun. I love Williams getting cussed out. I think it's really funny.
I agree.
Can you believe we're both Williams fans, apparently?
I love that for us.
Allegedly. And we're like, cuss him out. Get him.
We're the biggest Williams fans and also the biggest Williams haters at the same time.
The duality of laps down. The only other thing that happened really exciting was that this is where McLaren, I'm like, are you guys dumb as fuck again? Are we back to what we were doing last year? So they pit Oscar first to offset the people behind Oscar. I think it was like George Russell and Charles Leclerc. And I was like, okay, makes sense. And then Max pits and they go, let's pit Lando at the same time. Now, if you're pitting at the same time, you've already lost then. Because it's like, you should then just like run long and see if you can try to do like an overcut. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you getting by pitting at the same time? And then they, I think, thought like, oh, we'll get a better pit stop than Red Bull. As if Red Bull doesn't get like the fastest pit stop times at every fucking race. I was like, right. And then they have Lando's dumbass who just like forgets that the pit lane goes down to one lane past the pit boxes and just runs off in the grass and then is like, he pushed me. He didn't push you. Push you where? You were driving straight. That's just the pavement ended. That wasn't like Max didn't make it that way.
No.
He was just. And then on F1 TV, they were like, yeah, I guess Max could have like moved over and gave him room on the pavement, but like, why the fuck would he do that? Like,
no,
like,
yeah.
They were
this
like,
is a race.
Yeah, they're like, I mean, I guess he could have been nicer, but that would be really weird because it is a race. And like, I think Lando got over it. And I think what he was like honestly pissed about more than anything was probably just like the McLaren strategy. And he was just like misdirecting his anger because by the end of the race, like him and Max like were giggling about it.
They were
and, like,
making jokes in the cool down. Yeah.
But I do kind of, and then later on we have Oscar who's like on the radio being like, I am faster than Lando. And they're like, confirmed. Yep, you're faster than Lando. And they were like, that's as fast as Lando goes today. And he was like, right, so I'm actually going faster. So, like, maybe we have, like, 10 laps left. Like, you guys could let me at it, see if I can win. And they were like, probably not. No, I think we'll just hang out in second and third. And I think that this is McLaren's problem of, like, they play it so safe. They would rather pit at the same time as Max rather than just seeing if they could do something different to, like, get the first place out of this. they would rather get the second and third than possibly upset Lando with, like, letting Oscar by. They're just so, like, pathetically safe. Like, they don't do anything.
But, okay, to play devil's advocate for the orange team, if the Red Bulls continue to perform as they do, they're not going to win.
Doesn't matter.
Constructors. But then it's like, okay, at that point, you guys have been telling us that Lando is a world champion. It's like,
Max is 1 point behind Lando in the World Drivers' Championship right now.
Max is scary in a tractor. You have 2 rocket ships. Make one. I don't care who it is at this point. If a McLaren doesn't win the World Championship this year, the Drivers' Championship, you didn't win anything.
It's somebody's fault. It's somebody's fault.
It's their fault. Period.
Because, like, there's also everybody's like, oh, McLaren's so dominant, like, they'll be fine, whatever. We thought the same thing about Max and the Red Bulls until Miami last year. And then all of a sudden, everything changed. One good upgrade from a Ferrari, from a Mercedes, from a Red Bull, and this whole thing goes out the fucking window. They need every win, point blank, period. And if Oscar could have won it, we'll never fucking know, because he was behind Lando, slowing himself down purposely just to, like, maintain the status quo. And again, if Oscar doesn't out-qualify Lando, he doesn't get any track position advantage, per usual. Whatever. That's just me being an Oscar fan and being pissed about that. But even if you're a Lando fan, you should be fucking livid right now. Because they fucked up the strategy. They didn't even try to beat Max. They just happily accepted the second and the third place. And I think it's going to bite him in the ass by the end of the season.
I hope so.
Max is playing a consistency game. He's not going to win as many races as Lando, but he's going to be on the podium every time. He's going to get second. He's going to get third. He's going to be right there. And they don't give a fuck about constructors. Like at Red Bull, they clearly don't give a fuck about constructors. So they're going to put every egg in that Max basket. Ooh, Lando better be scared. I know he's shaking in his boots. Where are you, Zach Brown? What are you doing? Where is Zach Brown? Come get your team, bro. They suck at everything on the pit wall.
Yeah, they're just rolling over at this point and being like, well, as long as we get constructors. It is only 3 races in, though. I just hope they have, like... I mean, if they're not going to try, I don't want them to succeed, even if I do want Oscar to succeed. I'm like, I want you guys to just get shitty upgrades the rest of the year. If you're not going to try, let someone else try.
No, like, I want somebody to, like, have some crazy, like, race-altering, like, upgrade. Like, I want Mercedes or Ferrari to come out of nowhere with some, like, literally McLaren last year in Miami. We were like, what upgrade did they put on this car? Like, what the fuck rocket ship parts did you put on this thing? Because what just happened?
I want it to be...
who do you want to get the upgrades?
Well, since you asked, I'm looking at Williams this year, and they're sitting pretty good if we want to do Williams. I mean, I would be okay if it was Mercedes.
I think it'd be funny for Mercedes because, like, they have Kimi, who I would like to see win a race this season, who, by the way, became the youngest person ever to get a fastest lap at a Grand Prix today. I think he's a maniac. Like, he came on the radio and he was like, I'm giving it my all. And they were like, have at it, kid. Like, they were like, fucking go for it. I would love to see Kimi win a race this year. And so I would love to see Mercedes. And you know who else is playing the consistency game? George. I mean, he didn't get a podium today, but he got a podium the last other 2 races.
George is a sleeper. George is the... Like, you know, in NASCAR, how they're never tracking the right person. They're like, this is the race you're supposed to be watching. Then it's like, where the fuck did Denny Hamlin come from? Yeah. That's George. He's incredible. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Give Mercedes some life-altering updates in Miami. I want to see a George win in Miami.
Fuck it. Yeah. We're both going to Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put those upgrades on that Mercedes, bro. And, like, just for fun, I want George to get the stomach bug one day and let Valtteri have at it, too.
Yeah.
I want in Miami, I want a Kimi Antonelli win.
Well, okay, wait. No, I don't want that to be in Miami because I'll, like, cry and I'll be really hot and I'll probably pass out. I would like one to happen. I want a double Mercedes podium and I want Max Verstappen in between them.
Well, because we got a George win in Vegas, but it was kind of boring because he, like, actually just won the race, like, like led the entire race. And then it didn't even matter because
Yeah.
Max won his world championship, so like nobody actually cared that much that George won. He was at the club we were at after Vegas. He was outside though. He's probably having a good time in VIP. My feet hurt, and I was on the dance floor.
Yeah, you were putting in work. He was just, what was he doing? Lounging? Celebrating?
Yeah, I wish that was me for real. Okay, so yeah, Mercedes, have at 'em. McLaren doesn't even deserve it. And I think that was basically it of F1. Very boring race. All the drivers also said it was a very boring race, which is funny. I love how they like started submitting. You know how Jeff Gluck does like the good race poll? We should start doing that for F1. Steal his idea and just do a good race poll for
Was it a
F1.
good race?
And all the drivers were like 60 out of 100.
Yeah, it was a bad race, but like you can't, it's such a legendary track.
Yeah,
I think if it didn't have like the cool culture around it, like all the fans show the fuck out, I would be like, I would feel the same way I do about Monaco. Where I'm like, okay, we'll rotate it. Like it doesn't have to be here every year. But because everyone is so cool and like the content that comes out of it, it's so worth watching a parade or skipping the parade.
And all the drivers like it, whereas drivers hate Monaco. Like last year, like Max was like, "Can I get a fucking pillow so I can sleep during this shit?"
Yeah.
I am very confused about the like overpass on the track.
The figure of 8, as the Europeans call it.
They never they would always cut the overhead shot like right when the car would get to that point, and I never got to see a car like drive over it. And I'm just confused, like, is there like guardrails there, or if they like accidentally go off the road there, will they go off to the road below it?
There's a catch fence. That being said, try not to hit it is, I guess, the words of wisdom I would give you.
They could fall from above. Like, you could be driving, and there could be like an F1 car above you.
Just raining. Thank God we don't have to worry about that because there's very little action on the course.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, that's fun. Yeah, it can stay. It's a boring race, but it can stay. I think it can stay. We gotta have some boring ones every once in a while.
And when it rains, it makes it interesting. And there's usually a bunch of rain, but it's like, and there's grass fires. That's always a cute little thing we can, like a novelty that we can talk about on social media.
And like, all of the rookies, like they got to just do 3 practice sessions and no rain this weekend.
Yeah, that was nice.
It was their first like go at it, just normal, you know? And that's always good for them. So Miami's going to be a sprint weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, we can't even, like, we're going to be booked and busy, girl. We're going to have, like, sprint qualifying, sprint race, qualifying, race. It's not going to be like Vegas. Like, we're not going to be, like, fucking around. It's going to be
there's no Ferrari challenge, so I'm already expecting it to not be like Vegas.
But we have F1 Academy.
Do they have headlights?
No.
Yeah,
it's not even at nighttime, and there's no sphere either. We're
still
holding out judgment. We're holding out judgment on Miami. It might not be for me and MJ. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm really bummed that we never made a connect. This is our cry for help. Everybody, I'm making a connect. I never made a connection of how we could get a hold of Chloe Chambers. And my dream was that we would get to see her in Miami and maybe shake her hand and make a TikTok with her. And we can't find a way to contact her. She's very off the grid. Not really. She's very online. She just doesn't follow either of us or engage with either of our content. And I can't find an email address. So, Chloe Chambers, we've mentioned you many a time on this pod. If you want to be our next lapped traffic episode, let us know.
Whoa. Yeah, that'd be really good. Maybe we know she's on AO3 a lot. Maybe we should start a fan fiction, but it's really just like us pitching ourselves.
Yeah. And like we put her name in the title, so she's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Something to think about.
Yeah, if anybody has any connections to Chloe Chambers, we're trying hard out here. That's my dream for Miami. That and to have to meet Carlos at a Home Depot.
Oh yeah. That'll be fun.
Sell batteries.
You have to buy batteries you can't take on a plane.
So excited. IndyCar. What is that?
Hey, where the fuck you at, bro? I miss you.
Yeah, I mean, I wish you had a race. You didn't though. Nothing happened either. Everybody is. I think that they actually are not doing. Nobody was doing anything. Nothing exciting happened.
No, there wasn't even any. I looked up articles because I was like, I'm sure something happened. I just didn't see it. And they said it was just crickets.
I think they all just like went home. Man, I wish you guys would race more often.
I wish my favorite racing series was a racing series.
Right, yeah, not just like a once a month fuck around. Anyways, I'll see you guys next weekend in Long Beach. I'll tune in. It's at 3:30 p.m. Central. That's 4:30 p.m. proper time. And I know you guys will be on Fox, so I'll see you guys there.
Yeah, they will be on Fox because they don't do FS1. Because Bristol is going to be...
Yeah,
whatever.
They kicked NASCAR to FS1.
That's crazy.
The series that, like, I'm sorry, I still can't get my head around the NASCAR schedule. Like, I'm literally like, oh, we do this every fucking weekend. That's insane.
Dude, okay. I don't know if you had this same sentiment, but when people were like, we're starting an F1 triple header, and I was like, I'm 8 weeks into the NASCAR trenches. I don't remember the last time I saw my family on a Sunday.
I'm like, you guys are little babies. Aw, triple header.
3 weekends in a row, and you wake up at 10 a.m. and you're done with it. I have to watch it for 6 hours in the middle of the afternoon and fight off a mid-afternoon nap.
Oh, they were tempting me with a good time, a good nap today.
Oh,
I'm sure he's, you know what? Shout out to him, King of NASCAR, whatever.
Richard Petty.
That man was putting me to sleep.
Oh,
he was doing that old man like mumble. Like I know he.
It was soothing.
Yes, that's the problem. They reach an age where like old men, they just can't enunciate or speak loudly. And it was putting me to sleep, girls. I was literally like, good night, moon. Like, I was like, I could.
If he read me I'd be into that. I would fall asleep quickly.
Yeah. And there was like a lot of racing happening that they just were not commentating at all on.
No,
they were just asking Richard Petty about like his favorite color and like what he ate for dinner. And I was like, we got to get him out of the booth, guys. I think I'm going to fall asleep. I think you did fall asleep, right?
I did. I fell asleep for most of Richard Petty, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you guys had a nap car situation because of Richard Petty, because I feel like we're not the only ones here.
We need to start, I was thinking about this while I was sleeping. We need to start having like a group log of what specific, everyone write down what laps you fell asleep in, and I'm gonna make a chart just to see if we're all on the same frequency. And then I'll send it to Fox and be like, hey, less commercials during this time or something.
No, all the commercials during that time.
Oh, but from a marketing perspective, you would want to do less commercials.
I don't give a fuck about those corporations.
That's a good point. Yeah. More commercials.
We need like you know, like on like radio stations where they're like 1 hour of commercial free music. We need that, but like for stage 3. Like no more commercials, please.
And
we're doing stuff here.
And why do we not always do the side by sides? It was like right after the Kyle, sorry, I'm going to go on a tangent and then we can start talking about the things on the dock. The Kyle Larson wreck, you and I texted, we're like, oh, this motherfucker, he wrecked his car. And then instead of like showing it, we went to like 6 or 7 minutes of commercial and I was like, boy, it would be nice to know what happened.
I'm not gonna lie, whenever that happens, I always assume something horrible happened to the driver.
Well,
I always go, all right, Kyle Larson, I hope you're okay.
Like, that's why I always check my phone and I was like, are we not seeing it because he's not getting out of the car? But then there are times when it's like, hey, we could cut to commercial right now to see if this person can get out of the vehicle on their own.
And they're like, no, do you want to see 7 replays of Ryan Priest's car?
Ryan Priest.
I'm like, no, this is commercial time, babes.
Yeah, show me the Kellogg's commercial or something. I don't want to watch this.
Okay, speaking of Ryan Priest, do we want to talk about fan favorite? Want to just get it out of the way?
Yeah.
I'll go first. Mine.
Okay, cool.
Ryan Priest. Before this weekend, I was shared a delightful video by MJ, and we'll put it on our story maybe tomorrow so that everybody else can be part of it. In case you didn't see it, because I know Instagram doesn't show stuff in chronological order, whatever. And it's him like rocking out with AirPods in the like seat of his car. And then they're like, what are you doing, Ryan? You can't be in the car right now. It's only like Thursday. You don't have this till Saturday. And he goes, sorry, I was rocking in the crock pit. And it was like he holds up and while he's rocking out, he's eating rolls with butter on it. And It's like Country Crock butter.
Yeah.
That was his sponsor.
It was so good. Every single part of that, I was like, and it had like 160 likes, and I was like, no, this deserves so much more.
Yeah, I think, the cinematography of the butter being put on the roll, the song choice, I wish I could remember what it was.
It was I Wanna Rock.
Right, because he's rocking.
Because I was like, this is the Goofy Goober rock song, but then I was like, no, it's the actual
version, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was acting like he goes, sorry, I just wanted to rock out in the crock. But like the line delivery was very charming,
so good.
Very Ryan Priest. And I was like, this is fan favorite. I love you so much, Ryan. And thank you so much for thank you for being good at racing. I mean, I've been putting my multiplier on you for the last couple weeks, and it's been really working out well for me. Not as well as MJ, who's number 3 globally in the world for NASCAR fantasy, but modest gains here. And honestly, he's the only one doing that for my fantasy team. So shout out Ryan Priest.
Shout out. I love Ryan Priest. My fan favorite goes to Carson Hocevar. I feel like if Carson Hocevar is not like a sincere runner for fan favorite at the end of the season, it's because people don't like having fun. No, genuinely.
I would vote for him every weekend, honestly, if I didn't want to like keep the show interesting. He
always does something just like so fun and exciting. He had, I don't know who the person was, but he was it a streamer? I didn't know if it was a streamer or an athlete, but he was showing him around his little hauler and showing him the iRacing stuff, and that was really funny. And then he was interviewed.
My favorite part is the guy he was like walking around. He goes, "Oh, like up here is where the car would be in the hauler." And he goes, "Oh, is that like in Cars when Lightning McQueen?"
That's where they lost him.
And he goes, "Yeah, that's exactly where that would happen." Like, Carson was like so like, yeah, that's exactly like the movie Cars. That is a great comparison. Keep moving.
There was one point where, I don't know how they got to this conversation, but he was like, yeah, no, I just realized when I was younger I was really uncoordinated and unathletic, so he's like, I needed a sport where I could sit down.
Right. And then he showed his little sim racing rig in the hauler, and he had a little mini disco ball light next to it. He goes, yeah, we like to have fun.
It was really good. It was really good. It's like Ross Chastain, that's your villain. That's the villain of NASCAR. But specifically, I think it was Above the Yellow Line who put this out first, so credit to them. He purchased, I don't know what make of car it was. It like looked like the size of like a small Ford Ranger that was wrapped in like the Dale Earnhardt.
Like my dad used to have like an S10. Like it looked like one of those.
Tiny.
Like it's a small truck.
Very small, which is just comical because that is a large kid. Like he is tall.
He's like Esteban Ocon levels tall and lanky.
Yes. He purchased that and he was like, yeah. He was like, no, I asked every single person if it was okay if I bought it, if they thought it was a good idea. And he's like, I got it off of Facebook Marketplace and everyone told me it was a good idea. And then there was a picture of him. Someone took a picture of him driving to the track this morning in the car.
Did we mention it was like Dale Earnhardt's like full like replica basically of like all the logos,
the paint
and everything.
Scheme.
Yeah. Everything to a T, just on some random ass truck that he got off Facebook Marketplace. And he goes, I asked everyone who I consider for financial advice or something. And I was like, wait, this man has a financial team?
They all said it was okay.
Speak to them immediately.
So funny.
Yeah, Carson Hocevar, fan favorite every week, but we try to keep it interesting for you guys. But just know, even if we don't mention him as the fan favorite, there's a good goddamn chance that he is a
contender. Yeah.
And my dream is someday that Laps Down we get reposted by him on TikTok. That's the ultimate honor you can have as a NASCAR content creator on TikTok, is being reposted by Carson Hocevar. His reposts are great. He goes through once a day, I think, and just, throws some out for some
reposts a bunch of them.
Yeah, maybe this is our moment. Say hi to Carson. Hi, Carson. Love your work. Anyways, speaking of fan favorite, Chase Elliott is just was like, I actually hate Throwback Weekend. They were like, right, okay. He was like, soon they're gonna be throwing it back to me because we're running out of all these ideas. Like, there's only so many years at NASCAR. Like, and I'll go first because I think you have thoughts on it that are probably more well thought out than mine. But first of all, like, I think that you're not interested enough to have opinions like this. Like, I think that if you want to, like, hate on things that the fans love, then maybe you should provide more stuff for the fans to get excited about. But for now, let them just enjoy their throwback weekend. Second of all, I think you're just mad because your throwback paint scheme sucked. And that's okay. You can just say it that yours was ugly, and that's why you feel sad about it. Third of all, how is this man, like, he's like a toddler that needs to be just set down for a nap. Like, he is just so grumpy all the time.
He's very grumpy.
Why are you grumpy? You are fan favorite, and your job is to drive race car. Like, it's okay. You'll be okay. Like, stop being sad all the time. Anyways, I'll let you go now.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with him in the fact that he's like, we're gonna run out of throwbacks or whatever. Because I was just like, just do them again. Like, everyone, like, just, you'll be totally fine. Do it different. But Denny Hamlin also came out and said, and I think had Denny Hamlin not came out and kind of like shined this light on it, I would have been more like, shut up, Chase. But Denny was like, the reason that you see so many Xfinity cars doing this is because they have less sponsors, so they can kind of go all out. He was saying that it's hard to get the Cup cars or the Cup car sponsors to agree to do this because you're just changing brand recognition is what you're doing. Like, looking at those cars today, I probably couldn't have told you who most of those sponsors were supposed to be. So, like, from that point of view, it makes sense. I think Xfinity knocked it out of the fucking park this weekend.
I loved looking at those.
I was almost like, I don't know if I need the Cup cars to do it if Xfinity is going to do it this well. But I don't. The fans like it. Brad Keselowski came on. If Brad Keselowski is going to write paragraphs on Twitter. That's one thing about Brad.
This man's going to use the no character limit to the utmost extent.
And he writes very nicely. I'm sure he has Grammarly or something.
Get a Substack, girl.
A blog? A Brad log?
Start a Substack.
Oh my gosh, please. But he was basically just... Fuck, dude, I would subscribe. And I would hope that he would send it to me on my little... What is his little flip phone that he has? He's sponsored by... Not US Cellular or whatever.
I don't know.
My Brad phone. But he came out and was basically like, no, we do it for the fans. Like, the amount of people you see in, like, throwback merchandise, like, it's a big merchandise sponsor. But I'm also like, that's the NASCAR's thing is, like, you're gonna have people wearing merchandise for the throwback cars or for the old cars. Like, that's just their... Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if that was as good of an argument, but I understand from the sponsor's point of view. They're cool. They're fun to look at. But I'm new, so maybe I'm just, like, super tainted in that way that I don't super care.
When the message comes from Denny, I think I get it more because he is probably, like, also on the team owner side of things.
Right.
Like, it's hard, you know what I mean? But, like, I think it's just when the message is delivered by, like, the plain white 8x11 piece of paper that is Chase Elliott, I'm just like, buddy, like, not from you.
It's hard to take that into consideration when it's like, and he delivers it so monotone. I'm like, you just say you don't want to be here, Lance.
No. Oh my God, they should go fucking bowling sometime. They would have a great time together. No, actually, Lance has been, like, charming recently.
I've got to say, I'm quite enthused by the Canadian.
She's been charmed. A time or two. I don't know. I just think he's annoying. But that's just a separate issue, probably. Chase Elliott, just, like, not from you. I thought it was funny that Denny Hamlin, he ended up winning today, and his throwback was, like, let's be honest, it was, like, nothing. It was just, like, red and white. And he was
Carl Edwards.
It's kind of like the Carl Edwards red and white. And I'm like, I guess. Something tells me it was just going to be red and white no matter what.
It's very abstract. It looks a lot like you're a sports clips.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the sports clip car you drive every other weekend, but what do I know? And I think that's funny, too, is to say it's a throwback when it, like, looks hardly different than what you normally drive. Like, why was Alex Bowman in a black Ally car?
I don't know.
It was the regular Ally car, just black instead of purple. And they were like, it was probably some throwback that you and I are not aware of the reference.
Back when they used to have black and white TV. That's what you would have seen. That's the throwback.
Girl, log off. Oh God. So yeah, whatever. That was annoying. And then we had Connor Zilic announced that he's doing the Coke 600 in a Red Bull. All right, F1 girlies, come to the front. You're doing the triple. You're doing the triple.
You have to.
You're doing the triple, girls. We're going to do Monaco in the morning, Indy 500, and then you're going to stay watching for the Coke 600 because there's a Red Bull driver, so you have to stay watching. And it's my son, Connor. Woo! I'm so excited.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. Hopefully people are nice to him this time, unlike Coda ruining the vibe and
Daniel.
into him. Damn, Daniel.
Me when I see Daniel Suarez.
Keep an eye out on him. Did you see that NASCAR John got a cameo from Daniel Suarez for his birthday?
I didn't know that was an option. That was so good. I was like, shoot.
I was like, SVG, are you doing cameos for MJ's birthday?
Who else can we get a cameo from?
Yeah. No, I'm going to find drivers that don't even do cameos. I'm going to ask them, like, can you do a cameo for my friend MJ's birthday? And they'd be like, what the fuck is cameo? I'm rich. I don't know what that is.
Never heard of that. Is that an app?
Yeah, no, literally. Legacy Motorsports is suing Wickwell Racing.
Wickwell Racing.
They're literally suing Wickwell Racing because they signed a contract. Basically, I don't know. You explain it. I don't even know what's going on here. Why am I trying to lead this segment? You go.
So here's the situation.
Basically, what happened was
Rick Ware Racing has two charters. It's so hard for me to say that. Wickwell Racing. I can't believe people listen to this podcast. That just hit me for a minute as we were going, Wickwell Racing is getting sued.
You guys better watch out. You didn't even sign up right.
They have two charters. One they loan out to, I don't remember. And then the other one that Corey, someone where drives in the back. We don't know. He doesn't.
One.
Yeah, he doesn't get any screen time.
For good reason.
They decided that they were going to sell that to Legacy Motorsport. Signed they got together on January 6th, which I was just like, you weren't okay.
NASCAR got January 6th.
I was like, okay. They got together. They basically settled the deal, and Rick Ware Racing agreed to sell it. And so they wrote up a contract. Rick Ware of Rick Ware Racing signed it.
Handing over.
Yeah, signed it, initialed it, everything. And then he was like, okay, this is, once again, legally, this is all just my interpretation of the documents, all alleged, whatever. He was basically like, oh, I thought this was for 2027. Actually, all these documents I just signed says 2026. And Legacy Motorsport was like, yeah, it's for 2026. And so they're going to court because Rick Ware Racing decided that they just weren't going to uphold it anymore. They filed for a preliminary injunction and a restraining order, which I was like, okay.
Y'all are going to see each other around, probably.
I think I guess one of the cars is constantly at the back of the track. You wouldn't have to worry about it.
Infield, guys. Opposite ends of the infield.
The whole thing seems really dumb, especially because, they're bleeding money at this point, putting a car out on track every weekend that's in the back. So I'm like, at this point, I would just roll over and give it to him. But so that's happening.
It reminds me of like the TikTok trend that's been happening lately where like all these people are like, oh, I thought I booked a plane to Paris, France, but I accidentally booked my flight to Paris, Texas. And it's like, well, we have to read, people.
We have to learn. Yeah. And that being said, this is legal advice. If you are going to sign a contract, read it. And if you can't read, have your son who's a rapper read it to you because I'm sure he can read.
Yeah, on live, somebody informed us that Wickwell Racing literally has two failures of a son. One of them is a felon, and the other one's also a felon, but with a rap career.
And a face tattoo.
So, I would just give him the charter.
Wickwell, this seems like the least of your problems.
If I were you, I'd probably raise your sons. All right, we're done with that.
Guys, I'm so sorry. Please don't block us. Please.
Yeah, I promise our podcast is good. Please.
Please.
And then other lawsuit news, Lamar Jackson disputed JRM's trademark for Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s number 8.
That was so silly.
I've been loving all the memes
silly.
that are like, right, because we all got the 2 mixed up. Like, everybody thinks that this is fucking Lamar Jackson merch.
Dude.
Oh my god.
What a non-issue. But, they settled it. Like, basically, JRM was like, okay, fuck it, you can have it. We have this other number 8, whatever. So, I just thought that was funny. I was like, this is such a non-issue.
It's so weird how you can, like, trademark just such stupid shit. Like, did you know that the term 3-peat is trademarked by Pat Riley? So when we were talking about a 3-peat for Christopher Bell, we actually were infringing on their trademark rights. Like, they could have... No, I guess they would have had to, like... Make
no, that's not how...
Yeah.
That was very AO racing of you to be like, it's trademark, it's copyrighted.
But, like, it's like a number 8, like, why?
Well,
like,
and in that specific font too, like, the font situation is so, like, tied with NASCAR. If I see an 8 and it's on a purple jersey, he plays for the Baltimore Ravens, ? He was on my fantasy team. Then I'll know. I'll be like, hey, putting together these context clues, that's probably not Dale.
Right.
But, you know whatever.
You know what I know Lamar Jackson for? This is what you should trademark. Every year around the Super Bowl, people make really sick edits of him as, like, the only person that can defeat Patrick Mahomes for us. And it's always like, black hole sun, won't you come? And it's like Lamar Jackson, like, sick, like, looking cool, like,
hell yeah,
edits. That's your brand. I would trademark that. Thoughts?
I send it to him. Let him know.
Okay. All right. I'll reach out. Don't even worry about it. Do we want to talk about the race?
Yeah.
What was more boring, Suzuka or Darlington?
I would say
drop your answers in the chat, guys. What was more boring, Suzuka?
Personally, I would say Suzuka was more boring, just because, like, I kind of had a feeling who was gonna win, but there was still a little bit of me with Darlington where I was like, every single person could crash at any moment.
Yeah, honestly, we could have probably done Darlington with just, like, the last 10 laps, maybe, because we had for the rest of it. Well, I mean, William Byron led every lap of the race up until about 50 to go. And it was because he was getting very lucky with getting to pit under cautions and stuff like it. Basically, it wasn't until they actually had, like, full green flag pit stop cycles that he lost the lead. And he still was up there. I think he ended in the top 5. He had a good weekend.
He was
I mean, I think it would be really fucking annoying to do that well and then, like, not win the race.
Yeah, no.
Like, there's something about leading every lap that I kind of was like, should we let him have it? Like, it'd be kind of shitty if he didn't.
It would have been nice for my fantasy team if he would have had it.
He was on your fantasy team?
Him and Christopher Bell.
That's literally so bad. Yeah. Bell came back. You put Bell came back from B. Did you just watch the race only from the lens of people on your fantasy team? Be honest.
No. Well, I mean, sure, I was keeping some tabs on him. I've suddenly become very invested.
I was not keeping tabs on Christopher Bell's race at all.
He was in the front.
End, I know, but at the end I was like, oh my god, Christopher Bell, hey bro. What are you doing?
New car.
Yeah, I think it's maybe because everybody looked different that I was just like, who am I looking at? Yeah, so you put that he came back from nearly being left in stage 1 to 3rd. Good for Christopher Bell. Ryan Blaney.
Cursed.
Has he had a good pit stop all season? I can't think of one. I think that Penske needs to reevaluate whatever the fuck is going on with that pit crew. Because every time he comes on a pit road, I go, all right, so that was fun while it lasted. We had a good time.
Yeah. A lot of his races were ruined. This one was specifically ruined because Kyle Larson got double teamed by 2311. He did.
Like
Tell me I'm wrong. That's how it felt. Kyle Larson, what was it, lap 4?
160 laps
Yeah.
down. So, like,
Lap 4, he absolutely ate shit. He went below the not speckled lines, dotted line, and lost it. They took him to the garage. Also, he had an entirely new pit crew this weekend. Besides his fueler. Took him to the garage. He was out of the car. We had 60 laps in. He was out of the car, walking around. Very Alex Palou of him. Ended up getting back on track, 160 something laps down. And then was...
Well, difference is Alex Palou would have won it somehow.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point. And then he found himself, as lap traffic, up near the front. He was between Tyler Reddick and Bubba. At this point, Ryan Blaney was leading. I'm having a Rick Ware issue. And... and, Tyler kind of got into the wall, checked up. Kyle hella checked up. But to be fair, he was driving a car that was taped together with, like, a blessing.
Yeah. We try to give him grace.
And, yeah, he got hit by Bubba from behind and sent him into a wall again. And then we had a caution, and there goes Ryan Blaney's chance of ever feeling happiness ever again.
So we had, at the caution, it was Tyler Reddick leading. No, Ryan Blaney had just passed him. Right.
And he was getting out there, dude. I mean, there was space.
They literally said, the moment the caution happened, they go, you know who's going to hate to see that? Ryan Blaney. Because he is not going to do this well. They were like, he's going to fuck up this pit stop. All right, let's go, boys. And what's funny, though, is I don't think either of us were following Denny Hamlin right there. And then had a great pit stop. He ended up coming out of the pits first, and that's all she wrote. And
that's
at the end
on that.
He ended up thanking his pit crew and Kyle Larson for the win.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, guys, I think that when you boo him, he gets stronger. Okay, I'm like kind of a Denny Hamlin fan here, so like I don't really give a shit if you guys don't like him, and that's fine. I think if you really hate Denny Hamlin, I think by booing him, you're making him stronger. The way his face lit up and his pit crew,
he likes it.
They were walking out to like meet him to like, you know, do the little victory celebrations, and his pit crew was like making fun of the crowd. They were like, "Oh, boo, boo." I was like, you guys are getting him fired up. If you don't like him, I think you should just leave if he wins. You're making him stronger. If that's your goal, is to make him feel like shit and to lose, you might be doing the opposite.
I'm not fully convinced that the people who are booing him aren't fans of him. And they're like, he'll like this.
Should we boo him?
He's gonna like this. We could do like one thumbs down and one thumbs up so he knows that we're supporting him. But we're still like, boo!
Boo!
Me trying to wink.
Us in like action detrimental merch. Boo!
Boo! Oh no, not Denny Hamlin again on his way to a 3-peat.
Also, is Joe Gibbs Racing like
very good.
Fucking amazing?
Well, can I shout out? Sorry.
Yeah. No. Who do you want to shout out? Go for it.
Well, I just want to say sorry to everyone who's going to be annoyed that I'm shouting this guy out. Ty Gibbs. His past couple races, he's done really well. He's a part of that team too. Now, is he doing Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell well? He is. I always forget. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Denny, it's Christopher, and it's somebody else.
Well,
Chase Briscoe.
They take turns being irrelevant.
I was gonna say that motherfucker. I don't even think about him.
Yeah, I don't either. And then he's like top 5, and I'm like, oh shit, you again?
What are you doing up here? Isn't it about time you send it into a wall or something?
Yeah, do something. I wish you were Denny or Christopher.
I sure wish you were somebody else.
Shout out Ty Gibbs. That's wonderful. He's having like a little moment. He's like, back off, haters. Like, stop saying I'm washed. I got what, top 5 finish? Top 10?
I think it was top 10. I haven't looked yet.
All right, we'll let him live.
He was my multiplier, so
right. She watches NASCAR from the lens of fantasy. Everyone. If she ever
and what do you want from me?
If she ever shouts out a total rando, just know it was somebody that she could afford and put her multiplier on.
I can afford a lot of people, just so you know.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Why did you flex on me like that? I've had Tyler Reddick for 5 weeks, who's down $3 million. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler.
You should Venmo request him.
No, dead ass. Be like, bitch, you owe me so many McDonald's meals. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I thought you were gonna win at least one of the last 5 races.
I'm surprised he hasn't won yet. He's kind of obviously Ryan Blaney is the forever bridesmaid, never the bride. But Tyler Reddick is really fighting him for that position at this point.
Literally, these were all races that he's supposed to be good at. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I have a lot of Tyler Reddick merch. I'm allowed to say this. You're on fraud watch, buddy. You're on fraud watch. Stop being fraudulent.
Get him.
Get a win. Get a win, please.
As soon as the broadcaster says that Tyler Reddick is favored to win, I was like, well, he's not winning now. Look what you've done, Clint.
I'm going to start doing the Daniel Suarez treatment. Don't look at him.
Don't. Stop. Don't look at him.
And speaking of looking, you know who was looking gorgeous this weekend? Bubba Wallace's car.
Oh, yeah.
How many times are we going to get that Columbia little get up? I love her.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Please release with those windbreakers that y'all wear.
Please, can we have
Please.
one?
I would do anything for one of those windbreakers.
Please. I'm like a Rachel Berry in Glee. Please. Anything else, NASCAR? What else happened? I don't know. I think that's basically it.
Yeah, that was a lot of it. Wasn't a whole lot of on-track action. Well, I mean, there was, but
some tires got loose. Like, what do you want? It's NASCAR, you know?
It's NASCAR, but they're going to Bristol. The last Bristol race.
We gotta wrap this podcast up. I think we broke her. She doesn't know how to speak today.
The last Bristol race we watched was when Kyle Larson just moseyed his way on through the crowd. Do you remember that last year?
Yeah.
Back in the beginnings. So, can't wait for that one.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be so exciting. They had all these ads running for Xfinity Bristol during the race, and it was so funny, dude. They literally
kind of fun.
They were like, these kids are gonna beat the shit out of each other. I'm like, this is the advertising strategy for Xfinity? I was like, what is going on? I watch Xfinity every weekend, and it does not feel like they're gonna beat the shit out of each other every weekend. I was so confused. I was like, where are these clips from? Is that from this season? No. But it's funny. They literally basically are like, Xfinity is WWE. If you guys are interested in
flames going off in the background. It was filmed like a WWE commercial.
Wow. Yeah. So tune in, I guess. Maybe there'll be a fight.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. One could hope. So we'll go live probably this week. It looks like you have potentially on our live, we might talk a little bit about Indy Next or Indy Light. Unless you want to talk about that now.
No, let's save it.
Yeah, let's save her. We also take requests. If you guys have anything else in the middle of the week that you want to talk about in the live, pop in, drop a comment. We have fun. It's very casual. I will say, when you pop into our lives, you're getting the OG Laps Down experience. Because obviously, this whole concept started with us going live. And so you get the regulars. We have a good crew that hangs out in the lives. It's fun. And I guess that's all. I'm 26 now.
Happy frickin' Friday was your birthday. Oh,
yeah.
Update on NASCAR John. He did get to do a prayer for his birthday.
The same day as mine.
That was lovely.
And I just was so happy he got to do that. Guys, that's my dream for him, is that we get to go to the Roval or something and he does the...
Oh, one can only hope.
Wouldn't that be just delightful?
Can we submit requests?
I guess. I don't know. Maybe.
Is there somewhere on their website where they're someone who wants to do a prayer?
I have a friend.
He would do
great. Yeah. I guess that's all. Do you want to say bye, MJ?
Yeah.
Bye.
Goodbye.